The search continues for Naker Livingston Perez in Old Providence. As of now, the boy has been missing for close to 48 hours since the last time he was seen by his relatives.
Community and municipal authorities continue to search for Naker Livingston, the 10-year-old boy who mysteriously disappeared from his room about 48 hours ago in this section of Southwest Bay. The police commander said that every effort to locate the boy is being taken.
We are doing a joint work with all the military forces, with all the entities, with all the institutions, and hand in hand with the whole community, which is alarmed by this event that has taken place. We had direct contact with his mother, and somehow we want to deliver a message of tranquility, especially to trust the institutions, since we are executing our maximum efforts with all the staff suitable for locating the child.
The community also searched in some of the houses of that section after a call by the mother.
Help us to search house to house and unite as a people to look for the child. We know that some people have kidnapped him. The child did not go to hide in the woods. I only ask you to please help us.
On the other hand, since yesterday the municipal administration convened in an extraordinary way the Municipal Council for Risk Management to request the support of the Ministry of Interior and the National Fire Department, among other things, with 2 dogs and search and rescue personnel. However, at the end of the day, through social networks, the administration reiterated the urgency of the canines and search and rescue personnel to the Minister Daniel Palacios, since they have not yet arrived to the island. In this regard, representative of the chamber, Jorge Mendez, announced through his Facebook account that after finishing a meeting with the Deputy Minister of Interior and the National Director of Firefighters tonight, will be leaving the equipment necessary for the search to the island of San Andres.
And the heavy rains registered early this morning caused flooding in at least 5 neighborhoods of the department.
Several houses in the lower part of the back road sector were left underwater after the heavy rains that hit the department.
The situation is the same every time it rains. The flooding is the same. You have to stop working to come and set up the pumps, to come and take care of what little you have left. We have to pick things up and safeguard some things. Sometimes we put up boards so that the water does not seep into the houses, and we have to wait for the water to recede.
Inhabitants of the sector request progress in the storm drainage project that will prevent flooding due to the rainwater.
We're waiting for the storm sewer project. I don't know when it will be. As long as it doesn't materialize, we're going to be in the same situation.
We are asking them to speed up the process and to follow up on this contract, because we do not know why progress has not been made in the way it should have been. Sectors such as the schoolhouse, Seri Bay, and Black Dog were also flooded due to the heavy rains that have been recorded since the weekend in the Archipelago department.
Inhabitants of the Pepper Hill sector state that they have no access way out due to the conditions of the road that is being intervened.
Once again, the residents of the Pepper Hill Access Road called on Teleislas News to report the situation that affects them every time it rains. According to the community, the accumulation of rainwater on the stretch of road in question does not allow them to enter or leave their homes.
En estos momentos nos encontramos muy afectados por
At the moment, we are very affected by the road that is under construction. It has been more than a month since construction began, and they have not been able to do anything. They have only removed material, and at this moment, these weather conditions we have today, we do not have a viable exit. The exit is very deteriorated due to the passage of trucks and machinery. We are being affected by the exit route towards the Tom Hooker sector. We hope that they will help us to improve the conditions of the road, and that the construction of this road will begin soon.
Desde el principio de este año,
We find ourselves in such a situation that now the people who are fixing the road have made many holes with the access route that connects corner with Tom Hooker. It turns out that now we don't know where to go out from, since the neighborhood is muddy. The road is very muddy, and there are no other alternative roads. I think the most correct thing to do was to start one part and finish it so that we could have a way out and not have as many inconveniences as we have now.
Nos encontramos en una situación en que
Since the beginning of this year, they have started with works that have caused us several difficulties in terms of mobility, both vehicular and pedestrian, since the engineer lifted the tiles that were still half good in the neighborhood and the road that had been intervened on occasion. For no one is a secret that it is with the rain that are overwhelming us at this time, it is impossible to travel. Now imagine after they remove the entire road, the neighborhood. We cannot move, nor the cars that supply us with water, nor neither the gas service can enter the neighborhood.
Teleislas News made the corresponding efforts to obtain a response from the Secretary of Infrastructure. However, due to his agenda, it was not possible for him to meet with us. We will remain attentive to an official statement to find out what measures will be taken to address the situation that is affecting this community.
In other news, the IDEAM issued today a statement warning about the rains that will occur during the passage of a tropical wave.
IDEAM issued a specific recommendation for the archipelago of San Andres and Old Providence, where a tropical wave accompanied by a low-pressure system typical of the hurricane season is currently in transit. So heavy rains are expected, especially in the afternoon and evening hours in the coming days.
IDEAM continues with the permanent monitoring of the Colombian Caribbean Sea and the archipelago of San Andres, Providence, and Catlina and its keys. A tropical wave is currently transiting, accompanied by a low-pressure system typical of this season in this territory. Special recommendations for the next hours are to be alert to the rains in the coming hours between moderate to heavy, especially in the afternoon and evening hours today. IDEAM continues with permanent monitoring. Fishermen should take the necessary measures since we expect heavy rains and winds close to 46 kilometers per hour and waves of 2 and 3 meters high offshore.
At the moment, the IDEAM keeps the alert under surveillance on this pressure system that transits through the archipelago.
It is better to be safe than to sorry. And for this reason, the Risk and Disaster Management Unit in the department addresses the community of the islands through Teleislas News to provide extremely important recommendations that must be taken into account to ensure the protection and safety of all inhabitants of the archipelago.
Currently, the islands are experiencing the formation of a low-pressure system. Therefore, Samuel Castro Gonzalez, at the Disaster Management Program of the department, explained the situation of the archipelago.
According to satellite records, we have 2 cloud cells that are forming right now in the southwestern Caribbean, just off the coast of Panama. This low-pressure area has a quite large potential to become a tropical wave, and this wave has characteristics and a trajectory heading towards the coast of Nicaragua. And then on Thursday, probably a tropical cyclone will form over the coast of Honduras.
As prevention measures, the government office, headed by the Department Risk Management Office, mentioned some activities to be implemented by the criminal cleaning boards. Organize support group to secure the roof of families in need and inform the community of shelters assigned according to their sector. Likewise, there are a series of recommendations that the population should take into account to protect their physical integrity and prevent material damage. Make up an emergency kit with documents of each of the members in a properly sealed bag. First aid kit with frequently used medication. Have non-perishable and canned food available. Finally, give generated by the information that is circulating in social networks. Castro clarifies the weather condition that we'll have for the rest of June.
The IDEAM in all its reports warns us at the end of the month, at the beginning of next month, we are going to have a large amount of precipitation. So the idea is to be able to count with the appropriate elements and techniques to be able to secure the houses.
In conclusion, Samuel Castro suggests farming community support groups and reinforcing the roof of houses. However, it is recommended not to use rocks and bricks, as these could become objects that could affect the house of other neighbors.
And the police of the department referred to the possible case of suicide presented yesterday in the sector of New Guinea.
Authorities inside a house, a 34-year-old man identified as Wilmer Crespo Espinosa, who apparently shot himself in the head with a firearm.
Se lamenta informar que el día 13.
We regret to inform you that on June 13th, at approximately 7 p.m., a lifeless body was reported inside a house in the New Guinea neighborhood. Institutional capacities surveillance system and the investigation department were directed to investigate the scene of the incident. We made contact with relatives and residents of the sector, and indeed a 34-year-old citizen who was corresponded by the name of Wilmer Crespo Espinosa and who is also found in the place a firearm.
This news agency will be attentive to the future investigation of this new fact in the department.
So far this year, authorities have affected structures dedicated to micro-trafficking, achieving the confiscation of 70 kilograms of marijuana.
The National Police has developed for several months a plan to combat micro-trafficking in the department, which has resulted in the confiscation of more than 70 kilograms of marijuana for this year. While they have managed to capture 52 people for the crime of trafficking, manufacturing, or possessing narcotics, fighting head-on against micro-trafficking and its criminal structures. The authorities reported that during the last week, 3 people were captured in flagrante delicto who were carrying marijuana-type plant substances. The first capture was made by means of a search warrant in the Morris Landing neighborhood, and 2 others were made in the San Luis sector against 2 men who were found in possession of a package and pressed vegetable substance. By its smell and texture is similar to marijuana with an approximate weight of 3 kilograms. They also reported the confiscation and capture at the airport in Providence of a 33-year-old man who was trying to bring in about 14 kilograms of a substance with characteristics similar to cocaine hydrochloride by means of a parcel. In recent days, the authorities also achieved other arrests for different crimes, such as the intervention in the neighborhood of the Cliff, achieving the capture of a 21-year-old man who, at the time of practicing a search of persons, is found in the waistband of the pants a revolver-type firearm with 6 cartridges. The citizen has a record of threats, manufacture, carrying, or possession of a firearm, ammunition, part or accessory, and personal injury. Through search and raid activities, a warrant issued for the arrest of a man for the crime of violent carnal access. These citizens already had a record for the same crime, as well as for failure to provide food and for domestic violence. And in the Cove sector, a 30-year-old man was captured for the crime of domestic violence, who was captured after he threatened and physically and verbally assaulted his partner, causing wounds and bruises to her face. The revolver was a pistol type which had a loaded cartridge. He used it to assault his partner.
Time for sport news with Victor Fusalva.
Hello, here are the best sports of the islands. An afternoon of softball and recreation that serve as leisure for players and their families. An entertaining day of softball took place at the Henry Archibald Stadium. An important game was played by the Swamp Grown and Centro teams for players and recreation who attended this softball game. We spoke with Joel Peñalosa, one of the players of the Swamp Grown team.
This is important for we, this Sunday evening, this tournament we will play here, because it's like a moment of joy, a moment of come together, a moment of recreation here in the field, Sundays are the day we race and we go and enjoy family, maybe on the beach, go by a restaurant or something like that. But we take for family and we come this and enjoy ourselves by the stadium, because it's something we like, something we love. So I believe it's something very important, because as football, as micro football and other sports, ball is wonderful here too in the island. It's a wonderful feeling because town team is one of the strongest team. For is one of the strongest team too. So you have a competitive game right now. It's very important for us here in this tournament.
Softball tournament are another activity where you can recreate with your family, a space with pleasant atmosphere and recreation for children and adults, said Peñalosa. And on another field, a veterans tournament that enjoys the players with great respect. At the Maracanas field, a veteran soccer tournament is being held, which entertains and amuses these experienced soccer players. These teams fight to reach the top of the standings while having fun, enjoying and entertaining themselves. but with a lot of respect and admiration for each other. One of these players is Rafael Moreno Perez, who told us.
A close game as always with the Dizan team. A good team. The team tried and had several opportunities in the first half for several goals, but we did not take advantage of them. In the second half, they were already out of breath and our team also ran out of breath and the game ended in a 0-0 draw. I think the game could have been won in the first half. The important thing is to have fun with respect, that there is no aggression. Anyway, we are a team of veterans and we are trying to have serious fun with commitment. It is a very tight championship of veterans, some who have been moving up. So the championship has become tight since there are some younger players in their 40s and we know that there are players in their 50s and 60s. So the championship has become more competitive. We come to have fun with our wives, friends, and our children, which is the most important thing.
These veteran soccer players want to become example of a sport that is played with respect and admiration for the teammates or members of the opposing teams, inspiring peace and harmony in sport. Doing sports with respect. This will be all in sports for tonight. See you on another broadcast. We continue with Lisa.